Hello, YouTube. This is Ewan Spence and ESC Insight calling. Last year's winners of the Eurovision Song Contest are entering this year as well. Let's review Ukraine's song. Yes, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Welcome once more to ESC Insight's YouTube channel as we snip up our long-form Jukebox Jury song review podcast to bring you each country in its own little tiny clip. Today is going to be the song from Ukraine, sung by Tvorchi, and it's called Heart of Steel. Winning last year with Stefania, unable to host the contest because of the invasion of Ukraine by Russia. The BBC picking up the baton to bring the contest to Liverpool. But this is the song of the returning champions. Let's see what my team think. Myself, Ariadne Griffin, and Scott Reed review Heart of Steel. Ukraine's entry there, Tvorchi and Heart of Steel. It's the home entry, but there are two home entries this year. As we said, United Kingdom and the BBC hosting for UAPBC and Ukraine due to the ongoing war with the invasion from Russia. And like we had in Jukebox Jury last year, can you split the politics and the music? And it is difficult because the war is still going on. That story is still there. Their flag is still in the Eurovision logo. The situation is going to be on people's minds because of the contest itself. Does that have an impact on the competitive side of things? My contention is yes, it will, but only to guarantee a top 10. Anything else has to come from the song. So, if you're out there listening, there are various ways we can take that. That's how we're going to take this now. Scott, the music.
It's an interesting choice from Ukraine. It's not a song that immediately hits you over the head with meaning. So it is in theory more laid back and electronic. I didn't get it first time. I now actually really, really like it. It's happily sitting in my Spotify playlist. That normally would ring alarm bells for me that I didn't get it immediately. The only thing is, and I do need to go back to meaning, unfortunately. Well, first of all, we haven't seen the full staging because obviously they did their Vidbeer underground. They may have something spectacular lined up. There's also an element where Tvorchi have spoken about this song, and it's like they've been asked whether they were inspired by the workers at a steelworks who held out after attack. It refers to nuclear threats and things like that, or it's in the nuclear threats territory and things like that as well. I'm clumsily getting round to the point, which is I don't think Stefania won simply because it was like people saying this is Ukraine. It had other elements that people latched onto and it had extra emotional connection. Bear in mind that everyone's going to be looking at what Ukraine's doing with their song this year, and we're going to have an entire Eurovision Song Contest which talks about Ukraine a lot. There is a potential for that story to become the sort of bring that extra emotional attachment for people who are watching the show, who then may see more in the song than they would have done beforehand.
Yeah, I think, to me, it comes across as the sort of song a winner sends the year after. It's good, it's big, and it's not gunning for a win. I don't get the feeling. Like you said, it still has that message to offer, but like you said, I don't think Stefania won last year purely because of that.
It's curious, Ariadne, that you bring in this is the sort of song that you would send when you're hosting, when you've won the year before, because the song that this reminds me most from Ukraine's discography is Time by Tvorchi, which was the song that they sung when they were hosting that year. And, Ukraine are strong at the song contest. You look at their last entries, it's 1st, 5th, 17th, 24th, 1st, 6th, 3rd, and those 17th and 24th places come from a very broad definition of rock. Tvorchi and Malovin. They don't always do well sending these sorts of songs. Look, the biggest problem I have with this song is that it's boring. The emotion comes from the fact that it's the song coming from Ukraine. It's not coming from the song for me. It drags into this slow rap, and this is, look, hand on heart, this is not my wheelhouse of music. There's sort of rock and rap and a slower pace, and it doesn't gel at all for me. There's so many disparate elements. None of them on their own are strong enough to cast a vote. All of them added together do not combine to make a wonderful genre smash. And brutally, the only thing going for this song is that it's the one coming from Ukraine, and there's going to be a lot more focus put on the country during the production of the show. Will that mean people pick up the phone and go, yep, it's Ukraine? Or will they go, yep, you've had enough now, let's have somebody else have a go?
Yeah, it's a tricky one. Like, it's not my natural wheelhouse, but I actually like it, which is an odd one. It's very, very difficult to separate it from what's going on. It really is. I'd be astonished if it wasn't, like, top 5, regardless of, everything. Well, possibly because of everything. So, on that basis, I think I've got to actually put it down as a hit.
Yeah, I like the song. It has a certain nostalgic quality to the early 2000s, that sort of electronica rap, and I like that part of it because it doesn't feel like it's pandering in a way. And I think it will go down well in the stadium. I look forward to their light show, and I think it will land on the left-hand side of the leaderboard. I think it will do very well. So it is a hit for me.
Yeah, for me, it falls just a little bit short. I don't think it's top 5, Scott. I think we're looking at sort of 6th to 10th placing here. I think it will do top 10. It will have that respectable finish, but I just don't think the song itself has enough to push it higher up the table in the way that Stephanie clearly did, and the year before that, go quite clearly, when they were standing on just the song, pushed right up in the placings as well. I don't have Heart of Steel as strong as either of those two songs. So it's a maybe from me. Tvorchi's Heart of Steel, their Ukraine song into this year's Eurovision Song Contest. They're heading to Liverpool. The ESC Insight team are going to be heading to Liverpool as well. And you can keep up to date with everything we do at our website, escinsight.com, our podcast, which you'll find in all your big favourite podcast app service and directories, and Spotify. And of course, we'll keep putting up the song reviews here on YouTube until we get to the Albert Docks and the Liverpool Arena. Ta-ra for now. You've been listening to the highlights of Jukebox Jury as we preview the Eurovision Song Contest 2023. Find out more and listen to our podcast, www.escinsight.com.